Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 horror film Nightshift, a film that is written and directed by Stephen Hall and stars Ashley Dorrell as Amy and Matthew O'Brien as Adam. Now, Nightshift is an Irish horror film, and this focuses on Amy, the character of Amy, who is an American student in Ireland, who's got an Irish mother and an American father, I believe it is, something like that. And she's in Ireland studying, and she gets a part-time job working at a hotel. I think it's Limerick, during the night. So we see her start her first night at this hotel, and we learn, and we actually learn this at the beginning of the film, that there's some murders took place in this hotel about 10 years previously, pretty brutal murders in fact, and the hotel reopened a couple of years previously, fully refurbished, etc, etc. And she's told this as soon as she turns up by Adam, her co-worker. She doesn't believe it, she researches it all, discovers it's all true, freaks her out, etc, etc. And then as the night goes on, strange things start happening. She gets chased by a homeless person outside when she's taking some rubbish out. Some of the guests are acting strange, and then she full on gets introduced to a night of horrors, shall we say. That's all I'll say on the plot, really. Now, what did I think of Nightshift? I thought this was a reasonably competent horror film that suffers from a few plot holes and poor writing here and there, but is propped up by some pretty decent performances by everybody. It feels quite a low budget, this, even though it is set in a hotel. It doesn't feel high production value, should I say. It does feel quite a low budget film, and the start of the film was pretty strong. I thought the killer that we were introduced to at the beginning of the film looked fairly sinister and a bit creepy and freaky. So you do spend, the problem with this film is it's very slow paced initially, and you do spend a good 45 minutes waiting for something to happen. It's up to that point, apart from the 5 minutes beginning, you get 40 minutes of kind of build up, a couple of cheap jump scares and false scares here and there, and then I have to say, actually, when it does start kicking off here in this film, it goes down a more supernatural route, as the best way I can describe it, rather than full-on slasher. I thought it was going to be just a full-on slasher, if you like, and history was going to repeat itself, and she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, this girl Amy. Not necessarily so. It's more, goes down a more supernatural route, and there's this weird time loop that goes on that continuously breaks its own rules. That's the best I can say without going into spoilers, and I've probably said a little bit too much there. So I thought this was a fairly competent horror film. It did okay, kept me interested throughout. I was getting a bit bored until things started happening a good 40-45 minutes into the film. However, when it did start happening, it kind of left me scratching my head a bit, because she gets some exposition from basically the character you're seeing on screen there, and I'm not going to say who it is and how he gets involved in the film. You get some exposition from that character, and then from that moment on, the film continuously kind of breaks its own rules, it felt to me. I did think the killer did remain sinister until the reveal, and even that wasn't a true reveal to a large degree. So you kind of left this film a little bit dissatisfied, scratching your head a little bit, plot holes that didn't make an awful lot of sense. And they even at the beginning of the film spend time laying down the foundations that this character Amy was scared of the dark, and she was continuously leaving lights on in her flat with her friends. but it never really fully explores this again in the film, not properly. A couple of hints here and there. So I was left quite dissatisfied with this film, but I don't feel as though it's a bad film. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. It's one of those films that you might really enjoy if you give it a go. I thought it was just watchable. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.